What if the legends you thought belonged only to dusty vinyl records and old concert posters were actually still here, alive today? The voices that built Motown, shaped Southern soul, electrified gospel, and carved the blues into the heart of American music. Not gone, not forgotten, but still breathing, still shining, still carrying the sound of an era that transformed the world. These aren't set just memories. They stir living monuments, walking chapters of history hiding in plain sight. And today we're pulling back the curtain on 20 of the oldest black musicians you never knew were still with us. Icons whose stories didn't end with the music charts. Get ready. Some of these names will shock you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Gazeon before we begin. Lamont Dozier. Lamont Dozier, born on June 16, 1941, in Detroit, Michigan, was not just a songwriter, he was one of the brilliant architects behind the iconic Motown sound that defined an entire era. As one-third of the legendary songwriting and production team Holland, alongside brothers Bryant and Eddie Holland, he helped craft the musical blueprint of the 1960s. Together, this powerhouse trio delivered more than 200 unforgettable hits: My Baby Loves, Stop, In the Name of Love, and You Can't Hurry Love for the Supremes, Reach Out, I'll Be There for the Four Tops, and Marvin Gaye's beloved classic How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. Very few songwriters in history have left such a sweeping cultural and commercial legacy. Though Dozier thrived behind the scenes, he also stepped confidently into the spotlight as a solo artist during the 1970s and 1980s. His single Trying to Hold On to My Woman broke into the Billboard Top 20 in 1973, proving that his talent extended far beyond writing hits for others; he could deliver them himself. Throughout his remarkable career, Dozier's songs sold tens of millions of records worldwide. His contributions earned him a place in the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1988 and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990. But beyond awards and numbers, his true genius was his ability to fuse irresistible melodies with raw, honest emotion. He captured love, heartbreak, longing, and joy in ways that resonated across races, backgrounds, and generations. Although Lamont Dozier passed away on August 8, 2022, at age 81, the spirit of his music never dimmed. His legacy remains a powerful reminder that when songs are crafted with soul and sincerity, they do not fade. They continue to echo through time, touching hearts long after the final note. Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson, William Smokey Robinson Jr., born February 19, 1940, in Detroit, Michigan, stands as one of the most influential figures in the story of American music. More than a singer, more than a songwriter, Smokey became one of the core architects of the Motown sound, the musical revolution that reshaped R&B and soul throughout the 1960s. As the founder and lead vocalist of the Miracles, he delivered timeless classics that would echo for generations: Shop Around 1960, You've Really Got a Hold on Me, 1962, The Tracks of My Tears, 1965, and I Second That Emotion, 1967. And in 1970, the unforgettable The Tears of a Clown soared to the top of both the US and UK charts, becoming one of the group's signature achievements. With his silky tenor and effortless falsetto, Smokey Robinson captured the hearts of millions. But Smokey's genius extended far beyond his own microphone. He was also one of Motown's most gifted songwriters. He penned My Girl for the Temptations, My Guy for Mary Wells, and Don't Mess with Bill for the Marvelettes, songs that helped define the label's golden era. As Motown's vice president, Smokey played a crucial role in its rise, supporting Berry Gordy and transforming the company into a global powerhouse of hits. After leaving the Miracles in 1972, he thrived as a solo artist with beloved songs such as Cruisin' 1979 and Being With You 1981. Over the decades, he has released more than 25 albums and continues to grace stages around the world. Smokey's extraordinary career has earned him a long list of accolades. He entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, received the Grammy Legend Award in 1990, and was honored with the National Medal of Arts in 2002. In 2016, he accepted the prestigious Gershwin Prize for Popular Song from the Library of Congress. Now at age 84, Smokey Robinson still performs regularly, his voice remarkably smooth and emotionally rich. He remains not just a legend of his time, but a living testament to the timeless, transformative power of music, music that bridges generations and never fades. Martha Reeves. Martha Rose Reeves, born July 18, 1941, in Eufaula, Alabama, and raised in Detroit, is one of the most powerful voices to emerge from the Motown era. As the dynamic lead singer of Martha and the Vandellas, she helped shape the sound of 1960s soul and R&B. After joining Motown in 1962, Reeves quickly became central to a wave of unforgettable hits. With her fiery, expressive vocals, she brought life to songs that would define a generation. Heatwave, 1963, stormed into the Billboard Top 5 with its explosive energy. Dancing in the Street, 1964, rose beyond entertainment, becoming a rallying cry during the Civil Rights Movement. Nowhere to Run, 1965, captured the urgency of facing a dead end, while Jimmy Mack 1967 charmed listeners with its warm, longing tone. These tracks didn't just chart, they became cultural milestones. Reeves continued her journey with a solo album, Martha Reeves, released in 1974, and she remained active on stage for decades. Expanding her influence beyond music, she served on the Detroit City Council from 2005 to 2009, focusing on youth programs and arts development. In 1995, Martha and the Vandellas were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, solidifying their historic impact. Today at 83, Martha Reeves still performs at special events and shares her story with audiences worldwide. More than a Motown icon, she stands as a living testament to America's musical and cultural heritage. Gladys Knight. Gladys Maria Knight, born May 28, 1944 in Atlanta, Georgia, has long been celebrated as the Empress of Soul. With a remarkable career stretching more than 7 decades, she has built a legacy filled with depth, passion, and songs that have touched hearts across generations. Knight's musical journey began early. At just 7 years old, she won Ted Mack's original amateur hour in 1952. Only 2 years later, she formed the Pips alongside her brother and 2 cousins, a group that would eventually evolve into the legendary Gladys Knight and the Pips. From the 1960s through the 1980s, the group delivered a string of unforgettable hits. Every Beat of My Heart, 1961, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, 1967, If I Were Your Woman, 1970, and Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye, 1973. Then came their defining masterpiece, Midnight Train to Georgia, 1973, a Grammy-winning anthem that became woven into the fabric of American culture. Over the years, Gladys Knight earned 7 Grammy Awards, sold millions of records, and was inducted into both the Apollo Hall of Fame 2006 and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 1996 with the Pips. Knight's success was not only measured in numbers, but in her extraordinary ability to deliver raw, heartfelt emotion. Every song she performed felt like a story, lived and breathed through her voice. Beyond music, she appeared in films and television, while also dedicating time to charitable efforts. She has spoken openly about personal struggles, including a difficult marriage and the challenges she faced along the way, revealing the strength and resilience behind her shining public image. Now at 81, Gladys Knight continues to grace stages with her radiant presence and soul-stirring vocals. More than an entertainer, she stands as a testament to faith, perseverance, love, and the enduring power of music. Her legacy proves that true soul never fades, it lives on forever. Otis Williams. Otis Williams, born October 30, 1941, in Texarkana, Texas, stands as one of the essential pillars of American music. Not only was he a founding member of the Temptations, but he is also the last living member of the group's original lineup, a living link to the golden age of Motown. When the Temptations joined Motown in 1961, they quickly rose to prominence with their smooth harmonies, magnetic stage presence, and impeccably synchronized choreography. Their legacy is built on some of the most iconic songs in R&B history: My Girl 1964, Ain't Too Proud to Beg 1966, I Wish It Would Rain 1967, Cloud 9 1968, and the dramatic masterpiece Papa Was a Rolling Stone 1972. Through triumphs and hardships, Williams served as the group's steady foundation, guiding them through changing eras, shifting lineups, and personal losses. The Temptations earned 3 Grammy Awards, including Best R&B Vocal Performance for Cloud 9 and Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group for Papa Was a Rolling Stone. In 1989, they were honored with induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Williams also penned the autobiography Temptations 1988, which inspired the acclaimed 1998 television miniseries. Now 83, he continues to tour with the Temptations, proving that true music and true passion can endure across generations. Dionne Warwick. Marie Dionne Warwick, born December 12, 1940, in East Orange, New Jersey, stands among the greatest female vocalists in American music history. With a career stretching over 6 decades, she became known for her pure, expressive voice and her elegant ability to interpret a song, establishing herself as a dominant force in pop, soul, and adult contemporary music from the 1960s through the 1980s. Warwick's rise to iconic status was sealed through her legendary partnership with Burt Bacharach and Hal David, a collaboration that produced an extraordinary catalog of classics. Walk On by 1964, I Say a Little Prayer 1967, Alfie 1966, and the Grammy-winning Do You Know the Way to San Jose 1968 stand among the masterpieces they created together. These songs not only climbed the charts, they revealed Warwick's rare gift for storytelling. With every performance, she transformed lyrics into vivid emotional landscapes, making each track feel intimate and cinematic. Over the course of her career, more than 75 of her songs entered the Billboard Hot 100 and R&B charts, contributing to tens of millions of records sold worldwide. Warwick earned 6 Grammy Awards, including the prestigious Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2019. In 1985, she joined Elton John, Gladys Knight, and Stevie Wonder on the charity single That's What Friends Are For, a no-one hit that raised millions in support of AIDS research. Beyond her musical achievements, Dionne Warwick has been a passionate advocate for social causes. As a United Nations Goodwill Ambassador, she played an active role in global humanitarian efforts and HIV/AIDS awareness campaigns, using her voice for far more than entertainment. Now at 84, Warwick continues to perform, appear on television, and charm a new generation with her sharp wit and presence on social media. She is more than a musical legend. She is a symbol of endurance, elegance, and timeless artistry. When the world speaks of Dionne Warwick, it speaks of a global icon whose influence will never fade. Mavis Staples. Mavis Staples, born July 10, 1939, in Chicago, Illinois, stands as one of the most powerful and influential voices in the history of soul and gospel music, and a living emblem of the American civil rights movement. Best known as the lead singer of the Staples Singers, she helped shape not only a musical legacy, but a pivotal chapter of social change in America. The Staples Singers, guided by their visionary father Roebuck "Pop" Staples, used music as a weapon for justice throughout the 1960s and 1970s. With her rich, commanding, and deeply spiritual voice, Mavis Staples delivered songs that resonated far beyond the radio. Respect Yourself 1971, I'll Take You There 1972, and If You're Ready, Come Go With Me 1973 became massive Billboard hits, but more importantly, they became rallying cries for unity, resilience, and empowerment. Mavis and her family stood shoulder to shoulder with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., marching, singing, and inspiring crowds across the country. Few artists are so uniquely connected to both the evolution of American music and the trajectory of American history. When the Staples singers eventually stepped back, Staples launched an extraordinary solo career, collaborating with artists from Prince to Bob Dylan to Wilco. Her 2010 album You Are Not Alone, produced by Jeff Tweedy, earned her the Grammy Award for Best Americana Album in 2011. She continued to make bold artistic statements, including the critically acclaimed If All I Was Black, 2017, reaffirming her voice as a beacon of resistance and hope. Her achievements have been honored again and again. The Staples singers entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1999, and Mavis Staples herself received the Kennedy Center Honors in 2016 and the Distinguished Gershwin Prize in 2019. Now at 86, she still steps onto stages with unwavering spirit, proving that music grounded in justice and faith never fades. Mavis Staples is more than a singer. She is the voice of a movement, a keeper of history, and a reminder that music can change the world. William Bell. William Bell, born July 16, 1939 in Memphis, Tennessee, stands as one of the foundational voices of Southern soul. As the very first solo artist signed to Stax Records, a label destined to become a powerhouse of soul and R&B in the 1960s and 1970s, Bell helped shape the sound that defined an era. Over more than 6 decades, he proved himself not only a gifted singer but also a masterful songwriter whose work continues to echo through generations. His debut hit, You Don't Miss Your Water, 1961, quickly earned its place as a soul classic, later reinterpreted by legends like Otis Redding and the Byrds. The song marked the start of Bell's remarkable journey. He followed it with standout tracks such as Everybody Loves a Winner, 1967, I Forgot to Be Your Lover, 1968, and the heartfelt duet Private Number with Judy Clay. Each performance showcased Bell's signature blend of depth, emotion, and Southern musical storytelling. Beyond his own recordings, Bell left an indelible mark as a songwriter. He co-wrote Born Under a Bad Sign for Albert King, a blues cornerstone later covered more than 50 times by artists ranging from Eric Clapton to Cream. The song became an anthem, cementing Bell's influence across genres. When Stax Records collapsed in the late 1970s, Bell refused to fade. He continued creating, evolving, and recording. In 2016, at the age of 77, he released This Is Where I Live, an album that earned him the 2017 Grammy Award for Best Americana Album, a testament to timeless artistry. Now 86, William Bell still writes, performs, and inspires. With over 60 years devoted to music, he stands as both a guardian of soul's history and a living symbol of its resilience. A legend forever entwined with the narrative of Black American music. Maxine Brown. Maxine Ella Brown, born August 18, 1939, in Kingstree, South Carolina, stands among the most soulful and underrated R&B voices of the 1960s. Though she never received the same industry spotlight as stars like Diana Ross or Martha Reeves, her impact was undeniable, and she became a source of inspiration for many singers who followed. Brown began singing in New York churches before stepping into the professional music scene. Her breakout came in 1960 with All in My Mind, a heartfelt ballad that soared to number 2 on the R&B charts and cracked the top 20 of the Billboard Hot 100. The success of this song launched her into the national spotlight. She followed it with the hit Funny 1961, and later the beloved Oh No Not My Baby 1964, written by Carole King and Jerry Goffin, a track so timeless it was later recorded by Rod Stewart, Cher, Aretha Franklin, and many others. Maxine Brown's music blended traditional soul with polished pop, giving her a unique place among Black female artists of her era. Critics often praised her voice for its rare combination of strength and smoothness, emotional yet refined, powerful yet controlled. Beyond her solo achievements, Brown was briefly a member of the Angels and partnered with artists such as Chuck Jackson. During her years with Wand Records, she released a series of acclaimed songs that showcased her artistry, even if they did not always achieve commercial success. Brown's dedication to music endured well beyond her chart-topping years. She continued performing through the 1980s and 1990s at soul festivals and special events, maintaining a career that stretched more than 50 years. Over time, she became recognized as one of classic R&B's hidden treasures, an artist whose talent deserved far more recognition than it received. Now 86, Maxine Brown remains a living embodiment of the 1960s soul revolution, reminding the world of both the power of timeless music and the overlooked pioneers who helped shape modern R&B. Swamp Dogg. Swamp Dogg, born Jerry Williams Jr. on July 14, 1942, in Portsmouth, Virginia, is one of the most unconventional and genre-defying figures in American music. He first entered the scene in the 1950s as Little Jerry Williams, releasing several R&B records while still in his teens. But it wasn't until 1970 when he boldly transformed himself into the eccentric persona Swamp Dogg that his creativity fully erupted. With this reinvention came an artist who was strange, fearless, humorous, and deeply insightful all at once. His debut as Swamp Dogg, Total Destruction to Your Mind 1970, quickly became a cult favorite. The album fused soul, funk, rock, and country, all wrapped in satirical, provocative lyrics that carried sharp social commentary. He followed with Rat On 1971, notorious for its unforgettable cover, featuring him riding an enormous rat, and Cuffed, Collared, and Tagged 1972, further cementing his reputation as a soulful rebel unafraid to push boundaries. What truly distinguishes Swamp Dogg is his balance of comedy and seriousness. He sings about love, politics, civil rights, heartbreak, and even the absurdity of everyday life, all with a wit that few artists can match. Many critics consider him a pioneer of weaving social satire into soul and funk, and his influence can be traced in artists from Kid Rock to The Roots. His career spans more than 20 albums, and even in his later years he continues to innovate. Projects like Love, Loss, and Auto-Tune 2018 and Sorry You Couldn't Make It 2020 show that even in his 80s, Swamp Dogg remains bold and experimental. Now 83, he still performs, collaborates with younger artists, and shares his quirky yet deeply human music with new listeners. Swamp Dogg proves that originality, even when misunderstood, can carve out a legacy all its own. Gene Chandler. Gene Chandler, born Eugene Dixon on July 6, 1937, in Chicago, Illinois, remains one of the defining voices of 1960s R&B and soul. To generations of fans, he will forever be remembered as the Duke of Earl, a title earned through one of the most iconic songs in American music history. Released in 1962, Duke of Earl became a cultural sensation. It topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 straight weeks, sold more than 1 million copies, and instantly transformed Chandler into an international star. The song also gave rise to his unforgettable stage persona, complete with a flowing cape, elegant cane, and sparkling crown, establishing the Duke as one of the most distinctive visual identities in soul music. Yet Chandler was far more than a single-hit phenomenon. His career showcased remarkable versatility, producing hits across multiple eras. Songs like Rainbow 1963, Nothing Can Stop Me 1965, and the smooth, irresistible groovy Situation 1970, a top 15 Billboard Hot 100 entry, proved his staying power and his ability to evolve with changing musical landscapes. Beyond his vocal achievements, Chandler played a significant role behind the scenes as well. He worked as a producer for Curtis Mayfield and contributed to shaping the Chicago soul sound. His influence extended into the 1970s, where he became involved with the rising R&B and disco movements, helping guide the direction of the genres. With a career spanning more than 5 decades, over 30 albums, and dozens of charting singles, Chandler carved an extraordinary path in music. His accomplishments earned him the Rhythm and Blues Foundation Pioneer Award in 1997, reaffirming his status as one of Chicago's most celebrated soul legends. Now 88, Gene Chandler stands as a living testament to the golden age of R&B, a man whose creativity, innovation, and unforgettable voice continue to resonate across generations. Jerry Butler Jr., born December 8, 1939, in Sunflower, Mississippi, possesses one of the most distinctive and resonant voices in soul history. Known lovingly to fans as the Iceman, he built a career that extended far beyond singing, becoming an accomplished songwriter, producer, and a respected public figure in his community. Butler first gained national attention as a member of the Impressions, performing alongside his childhood friend Curtis Mayfield. Their breakout single, For Your Precious Love 1958, featuring Butler's commanding lead vocals, became an instant soul classic. It sold over 1 million copies and reached the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100, marking the beginning of Butler's ascent. Soon after, he embarked on a solo career that would span decades and yield an extraordinary catalog. Across his prolific journey, Butler released more than 50 albums and secured over 40 R&B chart entries. His standout hits include He Will Break Your Heart 1960, which topped the R&B charts. Only the Strong Survive 1969, a top 5 Billboard Hot 100 success. Never Gonna Give You Up 1968, and the tender duet Ain't Understanding Mellow 1972 with Brenda Lee Eager. His music became known for its sophistication, emotional clarity, and smooth delivery, the perfect embodiment of his cool yet sensual persona. Beyond performing, Butler proved himself a gifted composer, crafting songs for numerous artists and helping shape the rich sound of Chicago soul. His dedication to public service was equally remarkable. From 1985 to 2018, he served as a Cook County Commissioner in Illinois, devoting more than 30 years to political leadership, a rare path for a music star. In 1991, Butler was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame alongside the Impressions, solidifying his lasting influence on American music. Now 85, he seldom performs, yet remains widely revered as one of soul's finest male vocalists, a man whose legacy bridges artistry, integrity, and community impact. Fred Cash, born October 8, 1940, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, became one of the defining pillars of the legendary soul group, The Impressions. Although he was not a founding member, his arrival in 1960, stepping in after Jerry Butler's departure, marked the beginning of a role that would anchor the group's signature sound for decades. Cash's presence helped preserve the tight harmonies and spiritual strength that the Impressions would become famous for. Blending gospel roots with R&B finesse and powerful social commentary, the Impressions with Fred Cash, Curtis Mayfield, and Sam Gooden shaped the soundtrack of a movement. They produced eternal classics such as People Get Ready, 1965, Keep On Pushing 1964, and Men 1964, and We're a Winner 1967. These songs were more than soul hits. They became anthems of the civil rights movement, often played at marches led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Fred Cash's warm, steady baritone served as the group's foundation, allowing Mayfield's soaring melodies to shine while giving the harmonies depth and balance. Over more than 5 decades, he helped the Impressions release over 30 albums and dozens of charting singles, all while remaining the quiet force that held the group together. He was known as the Silent Keeper, a man who avoided the spotlight, but whose reliability and strength shaped the group's enduring legacy. The Impressions' greatness was recognized with their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1991 and the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 2003. People Get Ready was later ranked by Rolling Stone among the 500 greatest songs ever recorded. Now 84, Fred Cash seldom performs, yet he remains a towering figure in soul music. His humility and constancy prove that legends are not always the loudest voices. Sometimes they are the steady ones that make the music immortal. Marshall Thompson. Marshall Thompson, born August 24, 1942 in Chicago, Illinois, is the founder and last surviving member of the legendary soul group, the Chi-Lites. Revered by fans as the godfather of the Chi-Lites, he has spent more than 60 years preserving the group's legacy, making him one of the most important living witnesses to the golden era of 1970s soul and R&B. Formed in the late 1950s, the Chi-Lites reached their peak in the early 1970s with a string of smooth, heartfelt hits that defined romantic soul. Their timeless classics include Have You Seen Her 1971, which climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the unforgettable Oh Girl 1972, a chart-topping masterpiece often hailed as one of the greatest soul songs ever recorded. They also delivered beloved tracks such as A Letter to Myself, 1973, and The Coldest Days of My Life, each showcasing the group's emotional depth and vocal excellence. Under Marshall Thompson's steady leadership, the Chi-Lites became Chicago's most successful R&B act, shaping the sound of a generation. Through shifting lineups, personal trials, and the departure of key members like Eugene Record, Thompson remained the group's anchor. His determination ensured that the Chi-Lites continued touring and sharing their music with audiences worldwide, long after many of their contemporaries faded from the spotlight. Because of his unwavering commitment, the group's influence never dimmed. In 2021, the Chi-Lites received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a milestone celebrating more than 6 decades of musical impact. It was a moment that acknowledged not only the group's artistry, but also Marshall Thompson's tireless devotion. Now 83, Thompson still performs, proving that soul music carries an ageless spirit. More than a vocalist, he is the guardian of a legacy, a testament to love, nostalgia, and the everlasting power of the Chi-Lites sound. Russell Thompkins Jr. Russell Thompkins Jr., born March 21, 1951, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is the unmistakable falsetto voice that helped define the Stylistics and cement their status as icons of romantic soul in the 1970s. His gentle, soaring, emotionally charged tone became the group's signature and left a permanent imprint on some of the most beloved love songs of the era. When the Stylistics formed in the late 1960s, Thompkins quickly emerged as the heart of the group. Under the masterful production of Tom Bell, one of the architects of the Philadelphia soul sound, the Stylistics released a cascade of timeless hits. You Are Everything, 1971, Betcha by Golly, Wow, 1972, I'm Stone in Love with You, 1972, and You Make Me Feel Brand New, 1974. Each of these classics reached the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became enduring standards of smooth romantic soul. What set Russell Thompkins Jr. apart was not just his technical brilliance but the sincerity behind each shimmering high note. His falsetto was a vessel for pure emotion, tender, heartfelt, and instantly recognizable, transporting listeners into a dreamy world of affection, longing, and devotion. With his voice at the forefront, the Stylistics sold millions of records and rose to become Philadelphia's leading soul group of the 1970s. After parting ways with the group in 2000, Thompkins formed Russell Thompkins Jr. and the new Stylistics, keeping the original spirit of the music alive through global tours and performances. His solo album, A Matter of Style, 2002, further demonstrated his artistry beyond the group dynamic. Critics often rank him among the greatest falsetto singers of all time, alongside legendary voices such as Eddie Kendricks of The Temptations and Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind and Fire. Today at 74, Russell Thompkins Jr. continues to perform, proving that a voice fueled by passion never fades. His legacy is defined not only by his hits, but by the deep emotion he brought to soul music. Bobby Rush. Bobby Rush, born Emmett Ellis Jr. on November 10, 1933, in Homer, Louisiana, is one of the oldest living bluesmen and a towering figure in American music. Revered as the king of the Chitlin circuit, he has spent more than 70 years keeping the raw, emotional spirit of traditional blues alive. Over the course of his extraordinary career, he has released more than 400 recordings, making him one of the most prolific artists in the genre's history. Rush began performing in the 1950s, playing in gritty Southern clubs where he quickly built a reputation for his electrifying stage presence. His music blended blues, funk, and soul with bold, witty, and deeply relatable lyrics that reflected the struggles, humor, and resilience of Black life in the American South. Songs like Chicken Heads, 1971, and Sue, 1983, cemented his status as a beloved figure in the blues world. Despite his long career, mainstream recognition arrived later in life. At 83 years old, Bobby Rush won his first Grammy, taking home the award for Best Traditional Blues Album in 2017 with Porcupine Meat. He followed it with another Grammy in 2021 for Roller Than Raw, proving his creativity and spirit were stronger than ever near the age of 90. Rush is also celebrated for his dynamic performances, a mix of harmonica mastery, comedy, storytelling, and audience engagement. His shows feel less like concerts and more like communal celebrations, one reason fans call him the people's artist. He prefers intimate stages where he can connect directly with listeners who have supported him for decades. Now 91, Bobby Rush continues to tour, record, and champion the genre he loves. His life's work stands as a testament to endurance, passion, and the lasting heartbeat of the blues, the voice of a community that refuses to fade. Bettye LaVette. Bettye LaVette, born January 29, 1946 in Muskegon, Michigan, has often been described as the greatest living female soul singer you've never heard of. With a voice that is powerful, unpolished, and deeply expressive, she has the rare ability to turn any song into a raw, intimate story, one that reaches straight into the listener's heart. LaVette stepped into the spotlight at just 16 years old with her 1962 hit My Man, He's a Loving Man, which climbed into the Billboard R&B Top 10. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, she continued to deliver remarkable songs such as Let Me Down Easy, 1965, and He Made a Woman Out of Me, 1969. Yet despite her talent, a lack of strong label support kept her from achieving the commercial fame of contemporaries like Aretha Franklin or Gladys Knight. What truly sets Bettye LaVette apart is her extraordinary gift for reinterpretation. She doesn't merely cover a song, she reshapes it, strips it bare, and rebuilds it into something unmistakably her own. Her 2005 album I've Got My Own Hell to Raise, featuring powerful feminist reimaginings, earned widespread critical praise. She followed it with The Scene of the Crime 2007, recorded with the Drive-By Truckers, which earned a Grammy nomination for Best Contemporary Blues Album. Her 2016 release, Worthy, brought another Grammy nomination and solidified one of the most remarkable comebacks in soul music. Today, at 79, Bettye LaVette continues to perform and record, finally receiving the recognition she fought for over decades. She has earned prestigious honors, including a Blues Music Award and multiple Grammy nominations. LaVette's voice is more than sound. It is lived experience. It is grit, vulnerability, strength, and survival woven into melody. Her story proves that true artistry endures and that perseverance ultimately finds its spotlight. Clarence Carter. Clarence Carter, born January 14, 1936, in Montgomery, Alabama, is one of the most unmistakable voices in 1960s and 1970s soul. Known for his gritty, resonant vocals, skilled guitar work, and sharp songwriting, he carved out a place in music history that few could rival. Blind since childhood, Carter turned adversity into fuel, rising to become one of the defining artists of Southern soul. After earning a music degree from Alabama State University, he signed with Atlantic Records and quickly made waves. His 1968 breakthrough Slip Away soared into the Billboard Hot 100's top 10, introducing him to audiences nationwide. Just 2 years later, he delivered Patch's 1970, a powerful tale of a young boy fighting to overcome poverty. The song struck a universal emotional chord and earned Carter the Grammy Award for Best R&B Song in 1971. But Clarence Carter was never limited to heartfelt ballads. He also embraced humor, boldness, and a playful edge. His 1986 hit Strokin' became an enduring party anthem, attracting newer generations and proving his ability to adapt and entertain across decades. With a career spanning more than 60 years, Carter released over 30 albums and countless R&B chart entries, continually reinventing himself while staying true to Southern soul roots. His body of work invites a question: should he be remembered more for the emotional depth of Patches or the vibrant energy of Strokin'? Now 89, Clarence Carter still performs at select festivals and events, celebrated as a living legend. His career embodies resilience, creativity, and unapologetic individuality, leaving an unmistakable imprint on the history of black music. Don Bryant. Don Bryant, born April 4, 1942, in Memphis, Tennessee, stands as one of the defining voices and masterful songwriters of Memphis soul. Though celebrated as a solo vocalist, he is equally revered for crafting some of the most enduring songs ever released by Stax and High Records, leaving an unmistakable imprint on the soul music landscape of the 1960s and 1970s. Bryant's musical journey began in church, where his warm, emotional delivery first took shape. As a teenager, he joined the gospel group The Four Kings, quickly gaining attention for his expressive voice. He later signed with High Records, one of Memphis's premier labels, and emerged as a heartfelt soul singer with early successes like Is It Over 1965 and I Can't Stop 1969, establishing himself as a rising star in the soul community. Yet it was behind the scenes that Bryant reached legendary status. He co-wrote the iconic I Can't Stand the Rain 1973, performed by his wife, the incomparable Ann Peebles. The song became a global sensation, later reinvented by artists ranging from Tina Turner to Eurythmics, proof of its timeless brilliance. Bryant also penned numerous gems for Peebles, Otis Clay, and other High Records performers, helping shape the signature Memphis soul sound with his heartfelt lyricism and melodic sensitivity. After stepping away from the spotlight for years to focus on family and songwriting, Bryant stunned the music world with a powerful comeback. His 2017 album Don't Give Up on Love earned a Grammy nomination for Best Traditional Blues Album, announcing his triumphant return. In 2020, he released You Make Me Feel, which critics widely praised as one of the year's most authentic and passionate soul recordings. Now 83, Don Bryant continues to perform and record, proving that true artistry never fades. With a career spanning more than 6 decades, he remains both a guardian of soul's golden past and an inspiration to its future, a reminder that sometimes the greatest legends are the ones working quietly behind the spotlight. Barbara Lynn. Barbara Lynn Uzzin, born January 16, 1942, in Beaumont, Texas, was one of the rare female singer-songwriters and guitarists to emerge in the 1960s. At a time when most women in the industry were expected only to sing, Lynn shattered expectations. She wrote her own songs, sang them with heartfelt emotion, played her own guitar parts, and she did it all left-handed. Her talent and independence made her a trailblazer, opening doors for countless female artists who came after her. Lynn began her professional journey at just 18 years old. In 1962, she signed with Jamie Records and immediately struck gold with You'll Lose a Good Thing, a song she wrote herself. It soared to #1 on the Billboard R&B chart, reached the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, sold over 1 million copies, and earned gold certification. For a young black woman in the early 1960s, this was a groundbreaking achievement. Following her explosive debut, Lynn continued releasing memorable singles, including Second Fiddle Girl, Letter to Mommy and Daddy, and You're Losing Me. Although none eclipsed her first hit, they solidified her reputation as a soulful vocalist with a warm, expressive guitar style. Her influence grew further when Elvis Presley recorded You'll Lose a Good Thing, a testament to the strength of her songwriting. Over the course of her career, Barbara Lynn released more than 10 albums and toured extensively throughout the United States, Europe, and Japan. In 1999, she received the National Heritage Fellowship, America's highest honor for folk and traditional arts. Nearly 2 decades later, in 2018, she was inducted into the Texas Music Hall of Fame. At 83, Barbara Lynn continues to perform at blues and soul festivals, inspiring young musicians with her authenticity and pioneering spirit. She remains living proof that women can write, play, and command the stage in an industry once dominated by men. And there you have it, 20 legendary musicians whose brilliance didn't fade with time, but grew stronger with every generation they inspired. Their stories remind us that true artistry doesn't disappear when the spotlight dims. It continues to shape the world in ways we often overlook. Now we want to hear from you. Do we celebrate these living icons enough, or do we only recognize their greatness once they're gone? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters in keeping their legacies alive. If this tribute moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Gazeon, and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful story. See you in the next one.